Welcome back to another podcast. Sat next to me today is ex-teammate, current York Knights player, and owner of Fusion Clothing, my good friend Taylor Pemberton. What is the message?
What is the message?
Mate, good to have you on. We've been trying to tee this up for a long time. Obviously, you have recently started your own clothing brand, given birth to a child, I'd like to say. we'll call it your little child. People will often see me filming on the pod in your gear, to be fair, because it's great quality. But I'm not here to big you up. I'm not here to blow your head up. But I'm here to obviously understand your story and your journey. So what's it been like so far running a clothing brand?
First of all, thanks for having me on. Fusion, been a bit of a roller coaster, but it's something that I've always toyed with the idea of. From being young, I've always had an interest in fashion, so I thought, why not, let's take the plunge on it. It was literally an idea of me and Ebony sat in our back garden, enjoying the rays in sunny England, as you know, and I was just like, I might just start a clothing brand, like off the tee, and she was like, yeah, let's do it, like, you've got my support, and that was from when Fusion was born. I think I spent about 6 hours deciding on a name, and I think if you remember me sending you all them drawings and stuff like that, like different mottos, like what do you reckon of this? Because I think lads' opinions matter the most. I think if they thought it was a good idea, then I'd definitely do it. So I think in August 2024, that was when Fusion was made. And then it was months and months of resampling, making it, getting the fits right, getting the logos how I wanted them. And then I took the big plunge and placed a big order.
And launched the brand. I think, seeing the journey and the process of that, obviously, because you're such a young man. You know, you're on your journey within rugby, but also within life as well. Seeing you having the bravery to sort of start that, like, not only was it a bit inspirational for myself, but like seeing the ebbs and flows of going through it and the emotion and I suppose rolling the dice a little bit, because I remember you saying like you were sampling and all the boys were pumped up because you sort of dropped the launch video of what it's going to be, and then everyone was like, yeah, this is going to be sick. But then obviously you had sampling and you're trying it out and you're trying to make sure that first drop is perfect, and seeing you actually go through that journey and then take the plunge has been absolutely awesome. So congratulations, and like obviously there's a hell of a lot more to come from it. What do you think it was like when you finally decided on your first designs and you placed that order and then it arrived right at your front door, a load of boxes?
So when I actually like finished the first sort of design and the fit and everything, it was a case of getting that sample in, and then when it come, I kind of shit myself. Because there was a few things that I weren't totally happy with, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? Like, I don't really know what to do here. So then it was another month of like research and stuff like that. Bearing in mind, I've just launched that video, like you said. Everyone's getting pumped up for it. Everyone's like, oh, when's it coming? I can't wait. And it's like, just be patient. Like, I don't want to drop something that I'm not totally happy with. So then when I did eventually get to the final sample and took the big, like as you say, dice roll, that was even more nerve-wracking. And then I think I posted a video when the stuff come, and there's literally 12 big boxes in the back garden, and I'm like, right, what do I do now? Like, where am I going to put it? And it literally spent about 4 hours sorting through all of that. And like I said to you before I was having a coffee, it was like a Christmas tree in the front room with just boxes of Fusion. But looking at it and literally having the stuff in its final packaging with all the labels on it, the final product that I'd not seen, I'd only ever seen the sample, so when you get the sample and you get the final product, it's still a little bit different, because I changed the fabric of the t-shirt right at the last minute, but didn't have the sample because I wanted to launch it. So for me, that was the biggest gamble, knowing that I've got a t-shirt coming that I think is going to be all right, but I don't know 100% if it is going to be all right, and it turned out even better than I thought. So that was a massive relief when that come. And I remember Ebony saying, like, this is good, like, this is really good. And like, she put it on and it fitted her perfect, how I would like it to fit. And then when I put it on, I was like, yeah, let's go. And then from then on, Fusion was launched.
And it was on and it was live. And I think the biggest takeaway for anyone listening to this is that sometimes you do need to just do. You do need to just do. You just need to go for it. Because like the time between doing an action, like the longer that takes, the more of a delay there is, the more likely you are to talk yourself out of doing something. And I think for myself, like when I started online coaching, when I started my podcast, anything that I've done, like I could have been quicker and I could have done more, and that sort of leads to why we were sat here today. Because we've been trying to tie this down for ages, and it's one of those ones that sometimes if you don't make it happen, it will not happen. Sometimes it just needs to not be the perfect time. And this is what I say to everyone when they're starting. It's a bit different, like obviously starting a small business and going on a fitness journey. But I say to people all the time, all of my clients, I say, you will never have the perfect time to start doing something. Life, you'll never have a quiet week. There's no such thing as a quiet week. There's no such thing as a perfect time to start doing something. So you're better off just doing it and then making it work.
Yeah, that was my next point. Like, when is the perfect time?
Never.
Because if you say in 5 years' time, I'll do it then, when I've saved enough money, you won't do it, because by the time that's come, something else has propped up in your mind. If something's there and you've got the opportunity, just do it.
Exactly. Just take the action and just dive on the idea, because a week down the line you get a flat tire, another 3 weeks down the line there's a holiday you want to pay for, and you go, oh, that money that could have gone towards starting my small business, I'll just put that towards the holiday. And then after the holiday, and then something else comes up, there's a wedding to go to after the wedding, and then all of a sudden, like 18 months, 2 years have gone by, and you're like, why have I not started this thing? So like, yeah, that's huge. That's huge. It's massive what you've done, and I know that there's more to come from it, which is the most exciting thing.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, like Drop 2 is obviously live now. That at that point, then it made me think that like this is actually real. Because the first drop, it could have gone either way. It could have absolutely flopped, and I'm stuck with hundreds of t-shirts and hoodies, or it goes well and we order more. And to be honest, I planned for the worst and not the best. So then after 24 hours and I'm running low, it's like, right, I need to sort something out here quick. So then Drop 2 happened, and that for me, that was when it was like, right, I'm into this now. Like, I want to see how far I can go, and I think the sky's the limit with it. And I think, like we had the chat before, it's the exposure and everything that needs to come with it. Because it's all good me sitting here and saying how good my stuff is. It's what other people think of it. And ultimately, that's what means more to me than anything. When I see someone in the t-shirt and they go, honestly, this is probably the best t-shirt I've got. The shorts, they've had the biggest feedback, saying like, oh, I've never had a pair of shorts that have fitted so well in the gym. The performance of them, like you don't feel the sweat because it dries, and I'm like, well, that just shows that all my work that I've put into the fabric and the technology in the fabric is working.
Yeah, absolutely, and you could be the best clothing designer on the planet with no product. Exactly. You need a product, and you need to start, and you need to make adjustments, and you need it to be imperfect, and you just need to get it out there. And I think that's the thing for yourself, because I know you obviously personally. I know you're trying to be a bit of a perfectionist, but being able to get that first drop over the line, and then obviously Drop 2's out now. It's massively important that it gets out there, but also now the people, the awareness piece, people become aware of that the brand is there, and like obviously you have a motto, a slogan, from within, and 365. So you want people to sort of be aware of it, but then it to actually become like a lifestyle for people.
Yeah, that's it. I think with the motto, more than anything, the from within, it's something that I want people to not just buy a t-shirt because it looks good. It's every time they put it on, it's a representation of what I need to do to get to my better self. So for me, the 365 was based on, you've got every day of a year, just make them count. You're not on this planet for a long time, so why waste a day? You've got every day to really strive towards what you want to be, and don't just sit around waiting for it and procrastinating. Go and get it.
I love that. And the thing is, I love Carpe Diem as well. Like, that's season today, but I love that. I love what the belief in the brand, and I think that sort of ties us into your career as well, because like every single day is a new opportunity, and like you've come from Lee. Well, you're from Lee. Yep. You come from St. Helens, and then you took an opportunity to come up to York, and that's when we crossed paths. When you were a curly-headed younger man. Not that you're old now, but you were a younger, more naive man. So tell us a little bit about that and how that sort of tied in with your reasoning behind creating a brand and wanting to have this impact on other people and create this from within, and this 365 sort of design and this motto, how that all ties in with your rugby career as well. So take us back to coming through St. Helens as a young lad and growing up around Lee.
Well, Lee, God's country, as they say, sun's always shining. So born and bred in Lee, but come through the system at Saints from being 14. So I knew nothing different really. So from being 14 to 21, I was at Saints. And then when you get told that there's not really a progression for you, and you have that uncomfortable conversation, but it's the first of your career. it kind of hits you like a ton of bricks, and you don't really know what to do with yourself. So I remember, well, what year would it have been? 2022. It was in March. So bearing in mind the season had just started, and being told that there's no progression for you at a club that you've been at your whole life and that you supported through being a kid really hit home. And then obviously with looking for options and stuff like that, there weren't really anything, because people were saying, yeah, we know what you're about, but we've not seen you play. So from being March to August, I was kind of in limbo. I was debating whether rugby was for me. I'd been around the game since being 5, so for me it was like, I don't know anything different, but I don't know if there's actually anything in it. I'm kind of falling out of love with it because of the adversity I'd faced. Obviously made my debut, which was like the proudest moment in anyone's rugby career if you played rugby, especially for like your boyhood club that you've always dreamed of playing. But then when you get that disappointing phone call and then you get called in for a meeting and get told that, you kind of like, well, what do I do now? What is there in rugby league for me? And then when you're kind of fishing around and seeing if anyone wants you, and you know how it is when you're out of contract, it's quite a stressful period of time. And for me, that was a kind of realisation that it's either sink or swim now. You go and perform in any way you can, wherever you can, and an opportunity will come. And luckily enough, York did, right at the last minute. So it was deadline day, as they said, to go on loan. It was literally like 11 o'clock that night was the deadline, and we managed to get the loan deal over for the rest of the season. Played the following week against Widnes, and yeah, just put pen to paper and never looked back.
And it's mad because that game against Widnes that was a absolute try fest. We just we had a week off prior to that. So this is when you came in, because I remember you came in on loan. You went to the golf day and that, but we were all away because we had the week off. So we went on holiday and we came back. Obviously, we played Widnes out Widnes, quick turf, dry weather, very sunny. 40 points to 30 we won. 70 points scored in if you're there for the crack, like you're
if you were neutral, it was a great game, but for us it was like, whoa.
It was like, what, like you've probably come in and think this team can't defend. We've conceded 30, but we've managed to win the game by just scoring 40.
And I think in that game, looking back, I think everyone was out of position. You had Jesse D playing in the halves at one point. Yeah. He's a back rower. You had everyone was out of position, but it was probably the most enjoyable game I have ever played in, because I had nothing to lose. It was a new start, it was a debut, and it was just like, it was, what the hell's going on? This is amazing. Yeah, it was sign me up.
It was like a proper makeshift team. You're on loan, Toby Warren's on loan. With the randomest team out. But yeah, so that was our first encounter, and obviously you spent the rest of the season on loan at York. We had a good finish to the season, ended up making the playoffs by accident a little bit.
That is a day that will stick with me forever. Barrow away. It was the first game I've ever played in Cumbria. It was freezing in the middle of summer. I don't know how. We nearly lost that game, didn't we? We somehow won that. And then we sat in the changing rooms with flights booked to Dublin, fully expecting not to be in the playoffs. And then we ended up making them, and then it was Bradford the week after. Mad. It was a mental 24 hours.
Literally. So like for those who don't follow the game or don't follow the championship, 2023, we're last game of the season. We're sat in seventh or eighth, I think. We know we have to beat Barrow for any chance, but Swinton, who had already been relegated or were fighting to stay in the championship, played Halifax, who were sat in sixth. So almost like Halifax, a good team, almost guaranteed for Halifax to win, and we just wouldn't make the playoffs, and inevitably Swinton turned Halifax over at Halifax, and we ended up in the playoffs, and we were all just sort of like, this is mental, this is mad. But yeah, so we made the playoffs that year, which was crazy, really, crazy finish to the season. And instead of going on Mad Monday, we went for a swim in Dublin.
Honestly, it's probably one of the funniest off the cuff trips I've ever been on. You taking us down to your ends up in is it Balbringham?
Yeah, all over.
Jumping off cliffs on a Monday in Dublin. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. So for me, that was a great experience, just drinking coffees rather than Guinnesses. It just didn't seem right that we was in Dublin and not drinking, but we did. And it turned out to be a very good day. A
very good trip in general. Really, really enjoyed that. We'll we'll tell a little story about that morning. So we were on our way to Leeds Bradford Airport. I don't know how we got to this. I don't know how we got to this story. But so we're on our way to Leeds Bradford Airport. Well, I pick up the boys. So I think
I was staying at yours.
You stayed at mine. I go pick up Jesse and Atta, and Atta's bright and early, bushy tail, full of life, ready to go. And I get the lads and drive to the airport. It's about 4 a.m. We're on the 6 a.m. red-eye flight to Dublin. After playing the day before, beating Barrow, making the playoffs, so we're wrecked, sore bodies, going for a little recovery swim in Dublin for the day. Get to the airport and I go, right lads, phones, wallets, passports. And Atta goes, Ducks.
Do you need a passport?
Do you need a passport to go to Ireland?
Yeah, mate, you do.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've not brought it. I've just got my licence. Lad, what are you doing?
we were like, we're getting on a plane. Like, we're at Leeds Bradford Airport. So,
no, but the funny thing is, we've gone all the way through security. We've sat down, had a coffee, got to the gate, and then he said, "Do I need my passport?"
He thought I was messing. So I had to turn back. Missed out on the trip to Dublin, but yeah, we had a very good day, and I suppose from there on we've been pretty good mates. And from there, you end up signing up at York. Ebony, who's your partner, England international, it's a women's Super League player. She comes up with you. So tell us a little bit about that. Both of you coming across, making the move up to York, and just sort of like how the pair of you, like, it's a full rugby household. Obviously, I know Ebony very well. Like, I was involved in coaching the Valks, which is York's women's team. Last year I was involved in the strength and conditioning side. I got to see how hard Ebony trains and works all year round, get to know her a little bit, and as well as the whole team, and share winning a grand final, which was absolutely awesome. But take us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
You
so
decided to move to York.
So it was after the Widnes game, so obviously the debut happened, and it was quite a whirlwind, obviously, like. So coming on loan, and then you get given a week off, so then I'm sitting around for a week waiting to come to York. So obviously signed the contract, and then it was a case of, your partner plays for Saints, doesn't she? I was like, yeah. Well, are you going to get her down? And I said, look, if you wanna push that boat, you can try. I said, I don't know how that's going to go, because she was really settled at Saints at that point. She'd cemented a spot. She'd just played at Wembley and won that year. She's obviously playing international at that point, so she's killing it. So that was a big challenge, but it was like I say about the dice roll of fusion. That was her dice roll in her life. So for us to move to York was a massive opportunity, but it was a big commitment for her as well, because I was just going to travel to York from Leigh, so that's an hour and 45 at best. At best. So that's without traffic. But obviously when the York Valkyrie announced that they were going to start paying the players and to be the first ever Women's Super League club to do that, that kind of opened her eyes, but also mine. And I was like, we could have an opportunity here to go and move our lives and move away from home and go and play rugby at the same club, move at the same club and be together, a kind of thing, and go and set up a new life in York. Like, it's not a million miles away, but it's far enough away from home where you kind of get a bit homesick. So there was a month of kind of negotiating and going back and forth, but then behind the scenes, obviously, like looking for houses and stuff. And while she was still playing at Saints, because ultimately she still had a job to do. She was still playing for the grand final, and funnily enough, I think they played Leeds in the semi-final and got beat, where York beat Wigan and then went on to play in the final and win. So, it was just a bit of a whirlwind of a few months, that. So I'm obviously driving down to York, still training, obviously staying up at the Flax, going viewing houses.
Staying with the boys
At the Flax, viewing houses while she was still back training with Saints in England and in camp, working. Obviously I was technically full-time then, so I wasn't really working, so I was doing all the travelling to York, viewing houses, but bearing in mind at this point, she hadn't said yes. So I'm signing up for all these like houses, fully expecting her to come, and she's still saying, I don't know, I'm not 100% yet, because she had to go and have that conversation with Saints still, that she was thinking of moving. And I remember going with her to have that conversation, and she come out a lot better than what she went in, because she was obviously really nervous. It was the first time in her career that she's had to negotiate something. And I said, like, look, this is going to happen in your life now. Women's Super League's getting to that point where people are going to come in, they're going to start offering money, but ultimately it's what you want. I know what I want, and that was for her to move to York with me. I was dead set on that, and there was no negotiating on my part. It was just a case of trying my best to get her there. And then when we eventually found the house out in York, in the middle of the countryside, I think for her it was hard to say no.
Yeah.
And then obviously the opportunity to go working with a club partner and everything like that, and everything started to roll into one eventually, and it all just come together. And I think it was literally, we was moving in on the 10th of November, and it was only the 5th where she said yeah, and she signed the deal. And I was like, it's a good job, because we were literally moving in on the 10th, and she wasn't like 100% at that point. But I think a few things happened, everything rolled into one. Work, where she was working before their company went like bust. So that, it was like it was meant to happen.
Yeah.
And it was like you always say to me, if an opportunity comes, don't let it pass. And I think that was the ultimate point where we moved over to York. So I drove to York, got the club's van, drove back, we loaded it up and we'd moved in, and it was literally just like the last minute that she said yeah. I was like, right, I'm going to get in this van then, and we're moving.
And that's it.
And that's it.
But that's so sick that you're willing to, but willing to take that gamble. Like, I know what it's like moving out at a young age. I left home at 17, just before my 18th birthday. I know what it's like leaving home. It's not easy. No. It's not easy, and I know you're a family man and you're a bit of a home bird at times. So that's difficult enough. You've had your whole life in league playing at Saints, and you're sort of taking this gamble. Well, it is an unknown situation. Like, you're dropping out of full time, you're going into like a championship setup, you know, you're training on an evening, and then you're still very young when to be having that responsibility of moving out on your own with your partner. Like, and I think it's awesome, because you've grown a lot since I've known you since then, and you've matured a lot since then. But how important is that relationship for you with Ebony? I feel like she's always there for you, but how much has that helped you as a player, having someone who understands so much about the game and the life as a rugby player, but not only that, as a small business owner now as well? Like,
it's massive, you know, because it's like you go on with your problems and she knows exactly what you're on about. So it's like, for me, she's an absolute rock. I don't know, I know it sounds a bit cringe, but I don't know what I'd do without her. If I'm coming home on this emotional roller coaster, like, you know, rugby league is, to someone who didn't know what I was on about, you'd be still in it. But for what she does to me behind the scenes, is I can't put it into words. I don't think I'd still be playing rugby if I weren't with Ebony. Like, obviously we've been together for some years now, and you know, both sharing that same passion and the same drive, it really does motivate you, because like, you can go out and you don't have to worry about upsetting her because you don't want to drink or you don't want to go and eat something. Like, she's in the same playing field as you, so you're both going for the same goal. And ultimately, I think that's why we bounce off each other so much. But then on the flip side of it, when you're both on that emotional roller coaster, like, that's when it gets a bit aggressive. But I think that's when you learn so much about each other. Like, since moving in with each other, I think it's brought us closer, because you're in each other's pockets 24/7. You're both in a house, you're both paying the bills, you've got dogs to look after. Like, it's not easy. And I think that taking that risk and taking the gamble to both move has benefited us both massively.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, as you said, taking on that responsibility it's never bad for you.
No,
it's never bad for you, and it sort of makes you grow up in a way. It makes you grow up, and it sort of helps you with like developing, not only as a player but like as a person as well. You know, you sort of have to take that time to look at yourself and go, right, what am I actually doing? It's sort of it's easy and comfortable at home. The comfortable thing is always to stay at home. The comfortable thing, and I say this on all my podcasts, I say, like, doing what's comfortable is often not the thing to do. And you make your own luck. Do you know, like, whether you believe it's meant to be, whether you believe it's someone above, whatever you believe in, like, you make your own luck. Like, you put yourself in a good position and you be a good person, and then sometimes things do fall lucky, and like you and Ebbs get to come up to York together, do you know, and the last minute on transfer day you manage to get sent on loan, do you know, even with the house, like, you're meant to be moving on the 10th, 5th, she signs, like, little things like that. But you make your own luck by putting yourself into that position. If you don't take risk and you don't do anything, then there's no chance. There's no chance of even being in the shop window. Same with starting a small business. Like if you don't put yourself in the shop window and go, you know what, I'm going to buy this stock and I'm going to roll the dice because I don't know what the t-shirts are going to feel like in this final sample. But anyways, I'm going to go for it.
Go for it.
You like there's no chance if you're not willing to go and take the plunge.
Ultimately, like, what have you actually got to lose in life?
Nothing.
Like, you've got one shot at this. Just do it. Like, if something's coming up and you think, and you're 50-50, but the pros outweigh the cons, just go for it. Don't hesitate. And I think that's kind of how I've started to live by things now. Like, don't just sit there and procrastinate about doing something. Just do it. If it makes you happy, do it. Deal with the repercussions after if it doesn't work. Like, they say money can't buy happiness. But, like, for me, if you invest something into something, that money can come back. Like, just pay, like, I'm not saying pay your way through life and put yourself in debt, but that money will come back round. Memories don't. And opportunities don't. And exactly. I think that's how I live by now. And I've kind of tried to say this to Ebony, like, look, if you want to do something, go and do it. Just deal with the repercussions after if it doesn't, or you find a way. Find a way. There's always a way.
There is always a way. There is always a way. And what I always say to people, my biggest lesson in life is what the worst that can happen. I'm going to end up back in my mum's house, back in Dublin, doing the stuff that I was doing. Well, it's coming up to 7 years this summer. Doing the stuff I was doing 7 years ago when I decided, you know what, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to the north of England on a trial, like a £0 paid trial. I have no idea what this journey is going to be. I don't even know how to play rugby league. Like, I don't.
Do any of us?
No, still learning. But I have no idea how to play this mad sport that's played mainly in the north of England. I don't know anybody. I don't have any family here. I only found out that it was played on this side of the globe a year ago. And I'm going on trial at Super League Academy. And this is where it's brought me. I'm sat next to you right now. I have my own, would you call this a podcast studio? I have my own podcast. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I have an online coaching business where I help young people and I help older people. I help people way older than me, double my age. I help middle-aged people with becoming a better version of themselves, becoming fitter, becoming healthier. And all these things come off the back of what's the worst that can happen? I end up back in the spare room in my mad's gaff and she's cooking me dinner and fattening me up and I'm living the good life anyway.
But realistically, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
If you've definitely got something to fall back on, if you know that something's going to go tits up, but you know that something's there in the background, just do it.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you chase something that you genuinely believe in, like, and it doesn't work out, that's fine, because you're chasing something that your dream. And I bet if you chase something passionately with the most effort and go out on an endeavor with genuine belief, like, it more often than not works, because God rewards people who try. People who try hard and give things a crack usually get rewarded. And that's the same in rugby, in life. And that's one of the most transferable skills that I've figured out from playing this mad sport that we play. It's that you get rewarded if you try hard. Yeah. If you turn up every day and actually give a good crack, and not like a half-assed crack, actually have a dig, more often than not, you get rewarded in 100%. some shape or form. Like, if you came on loan and you sulked about it, you came to York and you sulked and go, I've been let go from the best club at the time. And like, they just won a GF a couple of years ago.
They just won 4 comps in a row.
Do you know what I mean? Point. You go, I've been let go from the best club in England at the time. I'm going to a championship club who were sat middle of the table, like 6th or 7th, and you go, I'm going to just drag my heels here and put in shit performances. You wouldn't have got signed.
No, 100%.
Do you know? But you had a dig.
But I think earlier on in the year, I probably did make that mistake, because obviously you have that self-belief that you think that you should be playing Super League, but obviously something's stopping you, and they obviously don't see what you're seeing in yourself. But I think I did drag my heels when I went on dual reg to North Wales, which are in the League One below. And I think I did do that, and I fell into that trap of sulking. I had the bottom lip out. I was thinking, what am I doing here? I deserve better. And I think that bit me on the arse eventually. And that was a massive reality check for me. So when I was coming to York, I knew nothing about them. I knew, like, literally nothing about the club. I kind of just rocked up and just thought, right, I'm going to give it the best crack I've got here and I'll see what comes. 24 hours after my debut, there's a contract on the table. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then from that point on, I fell back in love with rugby. And I am grateful to York for giving me that opportunity to fall back in love with the game and do what I've always done. And I feel like that's what my best asset is. I can play rugby. Like you said, I don't know if I actually know how to, but I feel like I'm good enough to play it. So that dream is still alive, and that kind of reignited something back in me to progress on. And now I'm in my second year at York and still loving it.
Exactly, and I think that ties really well into what you're doing away from the field. Like it is from within. It is a lifestyle. It is 365 days. That's a job that we're in.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can just like dabble in and out of.
No, there's no chance. Like it's literally like a 24/7 job. Like you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, right, I can't be slacking my breakfast or my dinner because I've got training later, and I can't turn up feeling like a bag of shit. Like you've got to be at your best peak performance every single day, even on your days off. You can't slack because you know that you've got training the day after. You know that you've got a game on Sunday. So that week leading up to a game on a Sunday is all building up to it. And then you play your game, you feel shite on a Monday, but you know for a fact you've got to drag yourself out the house and go and get some recovery done because you know for a fact that you've got training on Tuesday and you've got to go again. It's just a roller coaster, and it's every single day.
Yeah, you have to turn up for yourself, and it goes to show the back end of the year whether you've been doing that.
Yeah.
You know, whether you've been fueling yourself right all week, whether you've been turning up and doing the ice baths and doing the saunas and getting the mobility in, and it goes to show. It goes to show, and like the stones that are left unturned, nobody knows you left them unturned but you do.
Yeah.
Until it goes to show when your body breaks down or something happens. And listen,
wrong.
touch wood, like nobody wants that to happen to anybody, but that's the reality of professional sport, is that like you have to turn up for yourself on the days that you don't fancy it.
You've got to, and that's why I think that going back to Fusion, the from within motto really sticks out to me. So when I was sat there thinking of a motto, I thought, what could I put on a t-shirt, put in a brand that I'm embodying? And I think the from within was like the pinnacle. Like there was, obviously we mentioned it's a lifestyle, that was one of them, but then I thought, no, everything has to come from within if you want to succeed in life. And I think that is why that message is so powerful, and that's why I feel like I embody that, so I put it on a t-shirt for other people to buy into.
Savage. It's so savage. That I love it. So bringing us a little bit more forward now into the current present moment, after spending another year at York, another year on the roller coaster, and another year of developing, and then towards the back end you managed to launch this business. What does 2025 look to you? Drop 2's just come out. There's massive ambitions up at York still of having a massive season. Obviously everyone's talking about like IMG and the Super League, but more for you as an individual. How is that looking the year ahead, and what are the goals like for the business and for yourself?
So we'll start with the business, obviously, while we're still on it. For me, is just to keep growing it, like day by day, sale by sale. Like I'm not expecting massive amount of money to come in, like, but I want to scale the business bit by bit, brick by brick, and hopefully by the end of the year, I've got a couple of more drops out. I've got more people wearing it. I've got a couple more ambassadors on board, and just people really buying into it. I think that's the main goal for this year. And then going on to the rugby side is just to keep on enjoying it. Keep on the graft. Like if something doesn't go your way, just keep smiling through the adversity, keep going, and just to enjoy playing and play some more games. Because ultimately that's why we all go through the hell of pre-season for, is to buy round one, to be playing. Obviously, like sometimes it doesn't really go that way, but you've just got to keep going, get back on that roller coaster, and hopefully you'll end up at the top.
Yeah, and we were sort of on that journey together. I think the middle of last season, like we were the bomb squad. We were the Bibs team, 2 top players. I think by the middle of last season.
I think I was man at match every week in non-Bibs.
Yeah, I think people don't realise that it's like everyone, not every player, but some players go through that where you're not. Well, for me, I probably wasn't firing at the best of my game, and I had a few external factors that were probably playing into why I wasn't having the best part of my season. I'd just come off the back of a shoulder operation. I'd got a couple of concussions. I probably wasn't playing with a hell of a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't my best self as an individual and as a player. And like there was outside noise and other things contributing, which at the time you sometimes can't see as well.
No.
But they do lead into not playing well. And I spent probably 8 or 10 weeks in as an 18th man. You were following behind me, spending time as the 19th man, and we were sort of just pulling each other through that time. And,
yeah, definitely.
And I think the biggest thing for like anyone listening or anyone going through a period of their life where they're sort of feeling like I don't know what direction I'm going in, or I'm not happy with where I am, is break it down into the little things and the little wins, because that's all we did during that time.
Yeah.
Like all we did was focus on like the next gym session, the next con session, the next meal, and that's what inevitably got us out of that rut.
Yeah.
Do you know, and that's what got me out of that rut. It's that I wasn't trying to think like, how can I reinvent my game and change myself as a player. I just said, right, I just need to make sure that I'm fit, strong, healthy, working on my craft every single day, so that when I come back into the team, I'm ready to go. And like, obviously, I think it was after eight or 10 weeks sidelined, I came back on. Where I think we were playing Sheffield in the league or the cup. First game back, ball scutters along the ground, and like, it's literally all I had to do was put it down.
All you had to do was touch the ball.
Just touch the ball down, Ronan, and knocked it on. And I was like, oh my God, here's me, but another 8 weeks on the sideline, you know. But that was a result of probably not playing my most confidently. And by the back end of the year, I feel like I finished my time up at York really, really happy with where I left it off. And
I'd say so, mate. I thought, like you said, us two being on the sidelines with each other for like a good few weeks, like I think it was a really good test of character for both of us. But the way that you finished the year last year really set yourself up for this year. I thought you absolutely killed it in them games that you played, and I just thought, like, if I could take a little bit out of what you're doing mentally, like, I won't go far wrong. And I think that for me, you go in on confidence. I think that's how you play your best rugby, when you're confident, when you believe in yourself. And when you have that slight bit of doubt, that's when the mistakes creep in. And I think that was the trap I fell into last year. Started overthinking everything. Weren't playing with ultimate confidence like I did when I come on loan. Because the shackles were off then, I had nothing to lose. But just because there's a contract over your head doesn't mean that there's still nothing to lose. Like, just go out and play, just enjoy rugby league. Like, that's why we all do it. Like, what's the point in stressing over it? Why overthink it? It's a game.
Exactly, and I think that is the thing for you. Like, it's the two takeaways really is that positive vibe that we had when we were in the trenches, spending the time in the Bibs team, and just finding your confidence again. Because like, when you came up on loan, like, you play two kick and good ball, and we ended up scoring off it. But like, that takes confidence, that takes balls. Do you know what I mean? And like, everyone's like, "What is this bloke doing?" Oh, we scored off.
Well, yes. that was it. Like, it was obviously it was a spare of the moment, but I had nothing to lose. There was no pressure on. I was originally on the bench as a 9. Josh Daly goes down in the half, so I'm on at half. Within 5 minutes, I'm kicking on play 2 for AJ. I'm stood there with my hands on my head thinking, what have I done? But then he scores in the corner and everyone's like, oh, well done, Taylor, that's amazing. But like, you wouldn't do that if you weren't playing with confidence and you just did it. And that's why I go back to, if there's something there, just do it.
Yeah, and that's a great analogy as well, that like, everyone goes, what the fuck are you doing? Till it works out.
Yeah.
Do you know, and that's in business, that's in life. Like, you're a clown, not a clown. You're like, you're the bloke who's doing that thing, and everyone's laughing till it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know,
like, you could either go from hero to zero or zero to hero.
Yeah, but again, back to that point we were on about earlier. There's nothing to lose. And do you feel like that, like with the brand? Do you feel like there's pressure now on you to continue to deliver?
I don't know about pressure. I think internally, yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't want to see the work and the money that you put in kind of fail. But in regards to still delivering, I know I can with the product. It's just a case of people recognising that. So yeah, there probably is a little bit of pressure. I'd be lying if I said there weren't. But would I say I'm nervous about it? No. At this point, if you would have asked me this 12 months ago, when I was probably not as confident, not as wise as I am now, I'm still got a long way to go in life. But I feel like I've learned a lot more about myself in regards to, look, stop worrying. It'll come right eventually. Just keep chipping away at it brick by brick.
Exactly, and continue to work on yourself as well. Because when you're working on yourself as a person, like that's an endless game. That's an infinite game of trying to be a better person. I go to the person I was 12 months ago. Like, he didn't know anything, and I'll probably go in about 12 months' time and listen back to this episode or look at the stuff I'm doing now and go, Jesus, he didn't know anything. Yeah. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the game of trying to get better, and the beauty of it all is the journey. It's not the destination. Like, I think you'll probably look back maybe in 10 years. You may have the brand still. It may still be running. It may be done. You never know. But you'll look back and you go, when those 12 boxes arrived to the house and it was taking over the whole front room, you'll laugh and you'll go, wow, like, I was mad doing that, but how fun was that? Yeah. Or like when I was releasing drop 1 or drop 2, or I was doing my first pop-up event or anything like that, you're probably looking back and go, Jesus, that was crazy. But like, I love that. I love those sleepless nights and those early mornings and trying to make it all work.
I think that's what makes you as a person, though. Like for me, it's like you said, you look back in 10 years, wherever it is, if I'm still playing rugby, if I'm still in business, like you look back and you go, fucking hell, that were good. Like, I know I was stressing then, but like, what was there to stress about? It was a fun ride.
Yeah.
And like the people who you have around you are on that journey with you, and you can all sit there over a coffee and go, fucking hell, do you remember when I did that? That were pretty sick, that, wasn't it? Oh, that was shit. That was funny. Like that's what I love about rugby and then the business. I think the boys that you meet playing rugby, like, it's unmatched. Like, you can't match that in life for me. And like the connections that you build, like moving clubs, it might be scary moving away from what you know, but for me, I've met friends for life at York. Like, you've moved to Bradford now, we still speak every day. I've come up today to Leeds. We always see each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might be like every so often, but you're always in touch. But you've always got that same kind of camaraderie with each other. Like, there's always them same jokes that crop up time and time and time again, and you all laugh endlessly. Like, the jokes in Marbella that we had still crop up to this day, and it's a year on, and you still have a laugh about it. And I think that's what you can look back on and go, do you know what, it was all worthwhile.
It's all worthwhile because it comes quick, and like the career goes faster than you think.
Yeah,
the career goes way faster than you think. Like, I deeped it yesterday. Was Bell's birthday, and I was like, shit, Bell's 25. That means I'm 25. That means I'm 25 soon. I was like, oh no, it's coming at me hot now. Like, I was like, oh, 25. That sounds old.
Like you are getting old. Like, I'm 22 this year.
Yeah,
I'm still a baby.
I'm not a young lad anymore. You know,
and
like, that's the thing as well. Like, you're 22 years old. You have your own small business. You've moved away from home. Like, there's so much more to come.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the exciting thing. Like, at 22, like, I didn't have a clue how to be a online coach. I wouldn't have dared to start a podcast. You know, there was so much. Like, I had so much growth. Like, honestly, if any of my old clients are listening to me who had me in like 2022, like, I just want to say sorry. Like, you know, like, I was not the coach I am now, and it's funny, but it's true. But like, how would I know that? How would I know that if I didn't start? You know, and that's why I'm so excited about where you're going and where we can, like, where life's going to be in another 5 years' time, because it is exciting. It is exciting, and the camaraderie, like you said, that goes unmatched. And like, when you're getting your squad number reveal and you go to and you get a message saying, is your song the same as Bailey's? Because the boys have scribbled out your song and put Who Let the Dogs Out.
And yeah, but honestly, like, it was so funny. Like, you can't not be mad because it's that funny. The fact that a joke from 2024 has resurfaced a year later, and the fact that someone scribbled out two songs and put them the same to carry on that joke, I think is brilliant. But like, I think if any other job, that had been taken personal and you'd fall out. But like, for me, that's why it's unmatched, because you can just have them laughs, you can brush it, and you can go again. Yeah,
for sure. And I think as well, like, it's having them lads around you to keep you accountable is massive. I think that, like, one thing about the rugby environment, like, it's cutthroat and like we're brutal to each other, but you have lads who actually go, like, we'll say it to you, like, Taylor, that's shit. Do you know what I mean? Or Taylor, like, that's mad. Like, I want a new hoodie, I want a t-shirt. But they'll also tell you, like, mate, come on, like, that's not a good design. Or,
yeah,
like,
100%.
Do you know that mate, come on, the quality can be better here, or whatever it may be. And that's one thing that I feel like no one's going to bite their tongue. No one's going to bite their tongue, and everyone's going to get around the brand. And like, you've seen the support already, but no one's going to bite their tongue either. Like, and they're going to keep you to your word, that if you say that this is from within and this is who you are, they're going to say, well, that's who you have to be. And that might be pressure for you as a brand owner.
Yeah, 100%. But like, I wouldn't do something if I didn't believe it. Like,
exactly.
If I just put something on the back of a t-shirt and was like, yeah, this is what I do, but then behind closed doors I don't do it, and I just fucking put my feet up and eat shit and
scanning Big Macs
every day, then it's absolutely pointless. But for me, that is why I'm so invested in the business, because that is how I live my life. So like, for me, like, no one can turn around and question my, like, truancy in it. Like, that is who I am, and that is what the brand is at the end of the day. Like, no one can call me bullshit for it.
Yeah, and it's that thing that they say, but you'll know.
Yeah.
Like, you can post it all on social media, but you'll know.
Yeah.
You know?
Only you will ever know.
Only you will ever know what you do in your spare time and what your thoughts are and what your actions are. But you will know. And that is the thing. You will have to go to bed with yourself knowing what you did during the day.
Yeah, 100%. And If anyone does it, I don't know how you sleep at night. Like, if you're putting yourself as like a personal brand, but you don't live that way, I don't know how you sleep at night.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's fraud.
Yeah, 100%, and that's why that's why I love these conversations that I have with players, and it's only been like rugby league players on so far, but it's that person behind the brand and behind the social media, and actually diving deeper into it, because like there are sides of things that you may get a prejudgment on if you just look at someone's
Face
Instagram
value,
or take something as face value. Like, you might think something about me or something about you or something about your brand if you just look at 3 photos on Instagram.
Yeah.
But when you actually connect with someone and like get to know deeper down, like what shaped them into this person, and like the adversities that they went through, and what actually helped you birth this brand, it's not just something that you thought of on the spot. Like, it's something that has come off the back of every bit of life experience that has accumulated to make you, Taylor Pemberton, who you are today.
100%. And I think, like, you know me as a person, and I know you. We've had some like pretty honest conversations in the past, haven't we? And I think that's what brings you closer together. Like, we've delved deeper than I probably have with anyone in regards to opening myself up. 'Cause I'm quite a closed book. Only like Ebony will know what goes on in my life. But like the conversations that we've had, I feel like it's brought us closer together, because then I know more about you and you know more about me. And I think that is just what makes everything worthwhile, when you have them connections with people, and you meet new people along the way. You might not let them in like other people, but I feel like when you do that and you've got someone who can back you, and you say, what do you reckon of this? And they give you your honest opinion because they know exactly what you need. You can't buy it.
Yeah, and that was what we were talking about before we went live there, literally just with adjustments with the brand and where you're going with it. I was just saying to you there, like, I think you should lean more into the fusion side and things like that. And that's just me being honest with you, because you're my mate and I love you, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll go home and I'll reevaluate little bits, like I said to you, and then I backed it up with, but I want to keep that in there, but keep it a bit more subtle.
Yeah, exactly.
But like
exactly.
The feedback coming from you will mean more to me than me thinking, right, how can I change this? Because at the end of the day, you're buying something off me. You're buying into it. So I want your feedback. But you're one of my best mates, so then it actually means something. So I feel like you playing a massive part in what could come in drop 3. And then you can turn around and go, fucking hell, he did listen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty of having people who understand, and like, I suppose are on the ground with you. Like, I love what you do, but I know the journey as well. And like, even with content or anything that you're about, like, we're bouncing ideas off each other, and that's the sickest part about having a mate who's a small business owner as well as a pro rugby player.
Well, try to be.
Don't we all try? We still all don't know what we're doing. I don't know what I'm doing every day. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is. Taylor Pemberton, that was a serious message. Thank you, my friend.
Serious message. Thank you, mate.